Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another Link to the Past Randomizer League playoff. We have Game 3 of Don't Forget to Track Us versus OKDUDES, Ikea versus Ganon's Gone Wild. My name is Tracy M. With me today is Adirondack Rick. How you doing, Rick?
Doing pretty solid here. We do have what is going to be a must-win for Don't Forget to Track Us as they drop the first two games of this match. And just before we get to this race, what happened in the first two games?
Well, I called the game last night. We had a really bizarre cross-key seed, and when I say bizarre, cross-keys always has a troll, but this one had extra troll. I think Sword was an hour in. It was like an hour 20 in. They didn't have a weapon. Like, they didn't have so much as a boomerang or a Arcana Samaria to like almost an hour in. But eventually, there was a mirror locking progression on Moldorm 1, and a couple swords in weird places. One of them in Castle Tower, one of them in Turtle Rock that was actually locked behind 4 keys because we didn't have access to the entrance. And that sword led to a mirror on Moldorm and just led Helithar to the right conclusion, and eventually he won the race. Game 2 happened earlier today. It was a small key shuffle, and really just came down to there was a ether medallion required for Misery Mire in Skull Woods. Flip Heel last locationed it, and that was kind of all she wrote on that one. That one was a pretty close race too.
And meanwhile, here we have Casual Boots. So, Tracy, we pretty much have, the standard escape. La-da-da, let's go down to Princess Zelda. So I guess we could talk more about this pairing between these two and what's coming up next for the winner.
Yeah. You'll have to tell me who the winner plays, because I don't have it in front of me of the series. And of course, if Ikea wins, we get a game 4, and that'll be fun. And potentially a game 5. We need get some more of that co-op retrance action. See, we even already have bombs.
Yeah, I know.
We don't necessarily need bombs, but
Yeah, we got 3 bombs right in Link's house. We already knew this was going to be a boring escape for us to talk about. Anyways,
Kaz Boots,
The winner of this match will be moving on to the conference finals, where they'll be facing off against the Divine Beastie Boys, who ended up sweeping their divisional or their semifinal match against WJP DTB. That's
right. I should have remembered that. Fear Agent was telling me about that last night as we got set up. But yeah, that'll be, whoever makes it to that next round is going to be, once you get to the Invitational into the playoffs, everybody's a worthy opponent. Every race is, everybody can win at any given day. And so, yeah, that's going to be a tough matchup for whoever gets through, but,
the other half of the bracket isn't necessarily easy either, as Kier's getting a little bothered.
No, somewhere along the line, we got a blue boomerang.
Yeah, we got a blue boomerang somewhere. We got a key. We got a map. So therefore, the next 5 items are going to be actual items.
Yay! Hopefully it'll be something interesting. I cure down to 1 heart. You do not want to die in the escape, so please don't.
Yeah, because if you take a death at this stage, you wind up back at Zelda's cell.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Don't need to see that happening.
Because in Casual Boots, this could turn out to be a mode here where you are following each other for quite a while, and if you end up giving a little bit of a gap advantage to your opponent, it's time you might not be able to get back.
Yeah, I've seen races where, maybe not necessarily decided by, but, one runner will, like, if you get a mirror early, and one runner will forget to use it, because if you get the mirror, you can mirror back from Zelda's cell up to the front of the castle. And that'll just permeate that person's run throughout the entire race and affect things. So, of course, no mirror here, so we don't have to worry about that. At least not a mirror yet. And then if you use it now, you get that bad things happen.
I'm not sure if I really want to try to see what those bad things are.
Yeah, it'd be the same time loss, essentially, because even if you get to the sanctuary, it will take you back to the front of the castle, and you have to go through again.
The escape is so fun, you don't want to do it twice.
Absolutely. Heart container.
Sanctuary heart
Sank heart.
container.
That's a dumb place for Sank heart. I guess
mean,
it's kind of French vanilla when you think about it.
Yeah, it is, because of the fact that you are going to get that normally in the game for your 4th heart right after you get done delivering Princess Zelda to the sanctuary. But yeah, around here we just decided we're gonna just put it 4 chests earlier.
Okay, let's see if there's anything interesting in the back. See, it's one of the things I really don't like about casual boots. Because this becomes a free check, we don't even get to talk about, whether they get bombs or not. A flute is nice. Another container heart.
A flute is nice because logically it does open up one additional check at this stage. Over in Spectacle Rock, obviously, there are other things that could open up with various items that we're going to be finding between here and there.
Yeah, one in logic and one out of logic check over in the mountain, and any runner in league in Invitational is going to be able to fly through those dark rooms in order to rescue the old man to get that second item. But the important thing is you get the flute before entering Kakariko, so you don't have to make an extra trip there.
If you remember to activate it.
Yeah, I've been guilty of that mistake.
So have I, many times. Okay. And I think that's kind of the reason why you see Ganon's Gone Wild put the flute as the Y button. It's a visual reminder that you're going to need to activate it when you get to Kakariko Village. More bombs, because why not?
Yeah, bombs just not an issue right now. And, in general, casual boots, bombs are less of an issue because the biggest bomb issue in early part of the game is having enough to do mini Moldarm Cave. But guess what? We don't need to. Oh, hey, red rupees on the bush crab. And GGW just doesn't want any.
And there's 300.
We can 300 on Lumberjack, which... There is a world in which there's something on Zora, we have no money, and we already had to kill Aga 1 that you get that, but that world is very unlikely.
Especially since you would definitely Houlihan for the 225 rupees first.
Yeah, Houlihan, and we got a crab dropping red rupees, so it's not happening here. But, I could envision scenarios where that could be a thing.
Bombo's down here in the hideaway.
Now, this is not to say that we won't have to kill Aga 1, because this is Casual Boots, and Casual Boots likes Aga 1 seeds. But we won't be getting the item in the Lumberjack, because why would we bother getting, I can't imagine a situation where we really would need that 300 rupees that badly.
Hey, maybe you want to play the chess game multiple times, those ones that don't give you your money back.
Oh, yeah, you could do that.
I mean, you're foolish if you want to do that, but to each their own.
Hey, I watched Solsky do that once in an SMZ3 race where he went and reset when he didn't get the money. He managed to get to his 500 rupees needed for Zora relatively quickly. And in SMZ3, we don't have nearly as many stray rupees floating around. Well, we have just as many, just half of them are in SM. So.
Hey, Tracy.
That's a lamp.
Yes, it is. We're just one more item away from that Aga access.
Kind of to the point that when we have a sword start in Casual Boots, that I kind of think it's more likely not to have to do Aga. I just kind of expect it to happen.
Yeah, because if you remember week 3, when we had Casual Boots, it was pretty much half of the races turned out to be Aga required seeds.
And there was the twist on it during the in-person SG Live tournament where it seemed like every seed had something on the Lumberjack.
And so we do have 3 crystals here in the Light World, and Eastern Palace was one of our 5-6.
Well, let's hope we get a bow. We can just do it.
And Ganon's Gone Wild will be purchasing or selling off the Good Bee for 100 rupees. All right, so Ganon's Gone Wild has remembered that he does have a flute, so that's 1. And that's 2. Both runners have remembered that they have the flute.
Most important thing in the entire game.
So I guess, Tracy, we should talk about this crazy MSU that we're running here for this match between Ikir and Ganon's Gone Wild. I think this MSU pack is called The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past?
Yeah, I've heard it before. It's a good one.
In fact, both of these runners are using the same audio.
Amazing. That never happens. All we need is iCure to be using a vanilla Link sprite, and we can harken back to the old days before the early days of Randomizer.
Back when you didn't have multiple sprites that you could wind up using. Yeah, we're gonna have simultaneous sick kid checks though.
That's also a good thing to remember, that we have sick kid. See, just go to Aga. Just forget South Shore. Forget Easter. It's an Aga seed.
What's on the pyramid ledge?
Hookshot.
You're evil.
I mean, honestly, I dislike Agassiz more as a commentator than I do as a player.
I mean, after we just had to go through 5 minutes of the escape sequence, just rambling on about who knows what and where.
Exactly.
Why not just have another 4 minutes of just nothing to talk about except for that good old Twitch guessing game of certain things that Aga likes to throw at runners?
Yep, exactly. Whereas as a player, if I feel like I can get an advantage on my opponent if I can sniff the Agassiz out sooner than they do, and then if I get it right, advantage me. And if I get it wrong, then oops. But in all fairness, you don't go straight to Aga. Really, if you want to go there, you want to wait until you have something to do. So you want a hook shot to be able to get across the river. You want a bow to be able to go into a pod. Looks like both runners are going to leave that heart container sitting forever.
7 hearts, they're fine.
And with the flute, we do have a few extra things that are either, like we said, we have the mountain, couple things in the mountain, one in logic, one not. And then, Aegina's cave is not nearly as skipped with the flute, because you just go there with the flute. Hey, fire rod, that's a nice item. Okay, well, I think we're doing desert.
So,
I mean, we don't have gloves to finish it, but we have everything else to do it.
Interestingly enough here, Tracy, we do have the fire rod, we do have the ice rod. We're starting to shape up a possibility of Turtle Rock being important at some point in this seed, especially since they are both early spear checks here.
I mean, Turtle Rock is, I mean, it's infamous for giving you the early ice rod and then not being an actual crystal, and then you have to do it anyway. Of course, we're Arcana Samaria, plus, Darkhold Access, Myth, Hammer, all those things.
What is that we just got?
Did we just get the cane? I didn't even see.
No, we just got the cape.
Oh, jeez. The classic Aga in 3. And what I mean by that is you get 2 swords and a cape, or you get 3 swords. The game's just like, yeah, just go to Aga. And we are going to sequence break at least some of the Zora area.
Yeah, I think this is going to be just a head over towards the waterfall, because obviously Ganon's Gone Wild is a little short of the Zora money. Oh, bow!
Oh, I guess we're doing Eastern. Ugh, really?
Sequence broken, that's vanilla!
That is vanilla. I mean, I don't know if there's not a difference between which side, unless you play the speedrun rando version, which I don't put any stock in terms of which chest it is, but did not check the ledge. I like to check the ledge in this situation just so I know, and then you have the boots. You can sequence break it with a splash delete, but you also could choose to come back later with a moon pearl and do a double water walk. Of course, it's just arrow, so iCure knows it's nothing. GGW has no idea it's nothing, and the moment doesn't care.
And I think the strategy right there is Ganon's Gone Wild now has an out to get him back to Zora. iCure kind of is isolating Zora as a result, unless he has some reason to go towards Catfish and then mirror towards Light World.
Okay, so now taking that out of Logic Bow to Eastern, I still like the desert play, and I still think we're gonna see desert. But you gotta do Eastern anyway. It's a crystal. It's 3 items in this area, because you can also get the Saha items. So there's really no reason not to do this first.
All right, so Ganon's gone wild. It's going to be finding 20 rupees back here, a piece of heart, and 20 rupees. All right, so I'm going to guess that the desert ledge is going to be where the moon pearl is.
I think the desert ledge has something, or desert itself, like that book really is a telltale sign. Also going to point out that now both the items on the mount are in logic since we do have that lamp.
You are correct, and so we are going to see Ike here coming on over here as well. But I definitely do think that we're going to be finding something in desert. Again, we don't know if we can't get both items at this point in time because we can't beat desert.
Yeah, and one of the reasons to do this particular check first is you hope to find a glove, so you can just go to desert and do it. If you find a mirror, you can just go to Hera and do it. Hookshot and hammer would also give you Hera. And Ike, you're checking the green pendant. That's something I usually do in non-keys modes. How do you feel about that?
I think it's information, but the question is you know, how soon do you want that information? Can you wait until you get to the Dark World? Obviously, we don't know when we're getting to the Dark World. We're still missing several components to get ourselves there. So I think at this stage, it is not a bad idea to check it. So now you know that Palace of Darkness is your green pendant. And the first item of Eastern is bombs.
Woohoo, more bombs. Yeah, I'm more apt to check it in a non-keys mode if I have two pendants in the light world and it's just the green pendant I don't know. And then I can just skip the map check in the dark world. And, you know, I mean, yeah, that means I might not know what my red crystals are, but I don't care as much about that. You know, sometimes I'll just say, "Oh, hey, look, I have 2 red crystals. Let's go pick up Pyramid Fairy." But yeah, it is information. Okay. Still nothing in Eastern.
Yeah, we just saw 3 bombs. Now, is this an item here? Yes, it is, but it's not. What's something we need? 20 rupees. So this upcoming check is going to be the last in logic thing that we have for Eastern, because obviously that bow being a sequence break, we don't know how we're supposed to get those flippers that lead us to the bow.
Yeah, you know, that could be the desert ledge item. If you think about it, it makes a lot of sense. It gives you we talked about the item to do anything in the dark world, either a hook shot to get across the river or a bow to do pod. And it's pretty common that when you see an early bow like that, it's not to do Eastern, it's to do pod. So all we need is flippers to put it in logic, and that would put pod in logic once we do Aga.
So there's nothing inside of this Eastern as far as in the logic. That is
absolute crap.
So the third item is going to be on the Armos Knights. So yeah, let's put in some guesses on what we think is going to be that item on the Armos Knights.
I'm saying it's just going to be rupees. I mean, I'm bet it's a crystal. You do it, but yeah, I just don't think it's going to be anything useful. Flippers. I mean, with progressive bows, it actually could be flippers.
And
that's one of the things That's one of the things I don't like about progressive bows. My big beef with progressive bows, honestly, is why is the bow special and it gets 2 items and everything else gets just 1? Like, where's my second ice rod for the ice, or my second boots? You know.
That's what ludicrous speed is for.
Yeah, but gets. I mean, the name says it, right?
Absolutely. So Ganon's gone while doing a different setup here to the Armos than what we've seen from a lot of runners, but does take care of it, and we get a cane. However, it's not a cane that has opened anything new to us at this point, although my spidey senses are starting to tingle about Spike Cave when we do get a glove plus a hammer and a moon pearl.
Yeah, we have. I mean, the thing is though that blue cane doesn't even open that because we have a cape already. But yeah, we don't have.
True.
We have the magic extension and all that. So, yeah, you don't want to abandon Spike Cave if you can avoid it. GGW decides to go ahead and do the mountain stuff first. I mean, this is perfectly fine. You can save and quit here after you do whatever you do in desert if you choose to do desert. It's nice to get that save quit point. Not quite as important with the flute, but still nice to have.
Oh, Ikir able to rebound after getting hit and is able to take care of the Armo still in a quick fashion. Picks up crystal number 1. Both runners tied at 1 crystal apiece here in game number 3 of this conference semifinals between Ikir, Ganon's Gone Wild. Don't forget to track us, OK Dudes.
Oh, hey, we have Zora money. And GGW not even gonna check the other location. It is kind of a slow check, so yeah, I can understand it. Just 50 rupees on the ledge there.
That's not a Moon Pearl.
No, it's not a Moon Pearl. So my guess is the nice thing about knowing that the ledge has 50 rupees, since he hasn't done a Gina's Cave. Assuming we don't find a glove here, he can exit out the right side and go straight to Agena and then save and quit out of that.
That's not a Moon Pearl, Tracy.
It's not. It's not a glove. It's not a flippers. It's not a hook shot. It's nothing. It's just 50 rupees. A small key. I'm gonna go right.
And Ikir is going to go ahead and check Spectacle Rock.
Yeah, this will save him time if this is something good. And of course, I mean, in the end, GGW is going to check this anyway, so it's not going to be a huge time loss on Ikir's side if it turns out to be nothing. More bombs in Desert Palace.
Yay. More bombs in Spectacle Rock. Yay. All right, we have got to find something here or at Agena. All right, let's see.
Yeah.
Ikir going to do the same thing. Now go over to Agena first. Oh, hi
hello,
there.
Okay, so that's that. That gives us the East Death Mountain, which you're gonna do first.
Ganon's Gone Wild
and we're not
is
gonna
saving and
out.
quitting.
Yeah, he's out. He's not doing the Agena check. Which, if it's nothing, is fine. I imagine Ikir's been a little bit more thorough in general, so I imagine he'll do it. This hook shot will give us access to East Death Mountain and 8 items. We'll be able to also peek the item on the floating island. And if we get a hammer, we can go do Hera. But yeah, we've got all the pieces to the Aga puzzle. We can go into Pod. We can go across the river. It's all there.
Wait a second. Can we get across the river at this point?
Not logically. Thank you for... Yeah, we need a hammer, a glove, or a flippers.
Well, how about a mirror?
Well, mirror gets us Hera. So, we could... if a glove were to show up, then we could actually do all 3 crystals in the light world before we set foot in the dark world. And we do need a Moon Pearl. Yeah, chat rightfully pointing out. Sometimes I forget to mention the Moon Pearl because it just kind of feels like it should be obvious that you need it. But should we say, there's those flippers.
All right, there's our bow access. So there's our Moon Pearl.
Moon Pearl. And the Moon Pearl.
And Ikir's doing the same thing.
We're never... Poor Gina. He's just sitting there. He's got his item.
He's got a glove.
Nobody wants to visit him.
He's got a glove right now. I'm going to say it right now. 22 minutes and 20 seconds. Agena has a glove. Cut and print it.
It's a floating island with a shield that we're never picking up. Even as someone that doesn't hate shields and will pick them up when they're easy to get to, that's too far away. Way too far away to go for. But yeah, I imagine both runners, after they do the East Death Mountain play, are going to go get their items in Hera.
Yeah, because that's the only thing that's really in logic at this point.
Yeah, chat's saying Aga bait, but we still don't have a glove or a hammer. It's still looking like an Aga seed.
Yeah, but we do have that flipper plus hook shot combo to get us over to the other side now.
Yeah, we sure do. Now, the nice thing for the runners here is that these are crystal dungeons. Because if they were, with them being crystal dungeons, you do them. It doesn't matter whether it's an Agaseed or not. It doesn't. You're gonna have to do these checks anyway. You're gonna have to clear desert. Eventually, you're gonna have to do Eastern. You're gonna have to do Hera. If these were pendants, it'd be much more difficult. Because if these were pendants, then it's like, do I want to do the pendant dungeon and waste time when I feel like this is an Agaseed? But what if it's got my glove and hammer? So we're just gonna do these now. Of course, if we have a vanilla big key here in Hera, then we get more decisions. Do we skip it because of this thing called Hera Pot?
All right, let's see what we have at the Ether tablet. And just to go off on what you were just talking about with regards to the Aga play, and then you'll just sit there and debate. You'll try to put off Aga as much as you can, and then you'll find out your opponent went to Aga 20 minutes before you did. Game over. Thank you for playing.
Yep. I'm the person. I'm the opponent. I'm the person that's gonna jump onto Aga sooner. But yeah, like I said, in this case, I wouldn't because those are crystals. Kira's gonna go do it now. This is really a surprise because, like I said, you have to do this anyway. Like, you're gonna have to, do Tower of Hera anyway. And maybe he's hoping that if he can get, really, this could be just the really aggressive. Hey, maybe I get a go mode Tower of Hera right before I go into GT, and I just do it really super quick.
I mean, this seed has been screaming Aga, but is it a dud? We get a piece of heart right there inside of the big chest of the Tower of Hera, so...
Oh, we don't want to see the small key. Small key, go put yourself down in the basement where you belong.
I mean, the 200 people that are watching us here on Speed Gaming 2 want to see that key, but do they want to watch GGW sit there while the tower room attacks him? I mean... That's boring. Of course, he probably skips it at this point. We're talking about the chat that loves to watch a 15-second cutscene with 3 pendants floating up into the air and an item coming out of the pedestal.
Yeah, okay. That's fair. Nice cape usage from GGW there.
Better to use the cape than to fall off. Item number 2 is downstairs.
Oof. Okay,
Decision time.
Go back in? I don't think I go back in. Let's see what GGW does.
He's going back in.
He is going back in, okay. I mean, to be fair, you're running out of things.
Well, let's take a look at what Gans Gone Wild has left. You have the Hera basement, and then you have Agahnim. Those are the only 2 items that remain. Oh, yeah, Zora too. Those are the only 3 items that remain.
For him, it's actually 4 items because he hasn't seen the Zora ledge, so that's a 2-item play, but yeah.
Tracy, you are 100% correct.
I mean, it's one of those things where I'm the type of player that if at the end of the day I lose because I skipped something, I feel worse. I feel worse losing because I did extra things than I do if I lose because I skipped something. So I'd be IQ and going to do. I would have done Hera, but I wouldn't be doing the basement.
All right, chat getting their guesses in for that lovely little blue ball guessing game that they love to do as we do this cutscene. Let's eat nice to our runners. 0. Oh!
Okay. That's a really nice find. We're still doing Aga. It's still an Aga seed. We still have not been proven wrong on the Aga seed. I would be really sad if I found out that my opponent got a tempered sword there while I was stuck on Master Sword. I mean, if the fourth sword shows up, then it's fine. Yeah, at this point, he has the 2 checks on Zora. We know one of them's a dud, and a Gina.
And what are the odds that they are all your 2 gloves or glove plus hammer?
Yeah, I mean, I can see one of them turning out to be one of the things that we need, but the odds that 2 of those things are going to show up are pretty darn slim at this point.
All right, Iceman, this is your job. You're counting the blue balls.
Yeah, I can never count the blue balls. Cat saying there's already been 3. Oh, I guess that's 4.
Well, I guess it's going to take multiple... Oh, gosh. Game. Game. Please be nice. Please be nice.
I mean, they'll get the same fight at least.
I mean, they will, but please.
Our tracker Iceman saying all the 50-50s have been blue balls so far. Can we get the infamous 15 blue balls?
6, 7. And 8. Oh, no. 9.
Oh, my God. I mean, I hear you're on the wrong team. That's your team that does that, right?
It is.
No,
Whoa.
no 15. I mean, not that I really want to see anybody ever have to do a
Oh,
15 blue ball fight, but if it has
9.
to happen, I wouldn't mind being the one to call it. That's disgusting. Now, I mean, GGW gonna have to just go through the same thing, so no one's gonna gain an advantage off of that. And just a piece of heart on the ledge.
That
Now
feels
the
vanilla.
next question. The next question, do you go into pod or do you go, you could full clear pod except the boss.
Hi,
And you don't
Red
really
Pendant
care.
Turtle Rock. Hi, Red Pendant Turtle Rock. Can't go that way. You can't go that way. Thank you.
No, okay, Ikir says no to pod. I kind of like the pod play here. Like, you don't have to worry about finishing it necessarily because it's a pendant. And it's 5 items, potentially. At least 4. We'll see if GGW, which school of thought he's on here.
What runner is that one that believes in pod? I think they're average.
I mean, this is fine too. Like, there's nothing wrong with going and just going across the river and doing the. We have with the mirror, we have a couple of nice checks here that are much more on path now than they normally would be.
King's Tomb coming up here. Let's go ahead and see what's inside. Oh, hi. More bombs.
I don't know offhand how many bombs are in a sea, but I swear we're seeing them all.
Yeah. Somebody in chat pointing out that there should have been a quick catfish play to mirror into Zora. However, you cannot get to catfish because you do need to lift the rock just past the dark potion shop.
Since we do have flippers, if we get a glove in one of these early checks, I could see the argument for running back. But just another piece of heart, so nope, not there.
That feels near vanilla.
I'm pretty certain that's a heart piece in the... Yeah, that's definitely a heart piece in the vanilla game.
Yeah, I just say near vanilla because of the fact that there's 24 heart pieces, so the
and who knows which one, right?
Exactly. And Ikir getting a second look at that map, and yes, as I had mentioned just a few moments ago, Red Pendant Turtle Rock, as we already have both the rods.
Yeah, the nice thing though is we can do Skull Woods right away, so that's a nice little piece of the puzzle we have. Pendant Thieves Town, not my favorite thing. Probably dip the front 4. If there's any chance that Big Chest is going to have an item, I'm not going to the back in a pendant dungeon.
And so that is the end of that fight for Ganon's Gone Wild. Taking a look at the map, and yeah, that's the other of our 5-6. So
well,
more emphasis on
that's
Skull
really
Woods.
interesting because that is an in-logic pyramid fairy without the hammer. We could have a hammer and pyramid fairy, which, you know, isn't that troll if you have to do Aga for Dark World access already, but...
Hammer!
Never mind. There's the hammer. That's boring.
Why is that boring, Tracy?
I was setting up the hammer and pyramid fairy, and the game just said no.
I mean, hammer would make it somewhat okay to get it back to the pyramid, but nah. We're going to have some fun with this.
I mean,
now.
with Mirror and Aga and the Aga portal, you don't actually need the hammer.
Yes, that's correct.
You know, and that's one of those things that where it's really trolly is if you're late in a sea and you've had MITS access to the Dark World forever, but you still can't get to the Pyramid Fairy without doing shenanigans or killing Aga, and you still don't have a hammer, and it might be there. Those seeds are odd. Those are not fun seeds. Although I'm sure chat would love it.
But we're going to have a long time until we actually get to that Pyramid Fairy. And the big reason why is because that hammer does make it possible to beat Swamp Palace.
Yeah, it does. And that's not a bad play.
All right, IQ's going to have to be careful, please. Does use up the red potion. That's good.
You could let that bee go. This is the one boss where you can actually hurt it with the bee. I'm not sure I advise that. That's really not a great way to try and kill moth, but
Nice kill still. And the bigger thing is that's the second item. That's actually a pretty solid Skull Woods.
Yeah.
IQ's completely done with this dungeon at this stage. So
we didn't even touch the front.
Yeah. So the big thing here is that bee. Oh gosh, I mean, it does do damage to Mothula if you can keep it away from the spikes, but the lag.
It's lag, and it doesn't do a lot of damage, and you still have to avoid getting hit. I don't advise it.
And Ganon's Gone Wild is going the unfortunate way at this point, but now mirroring out. Pedestal check for Ikir. Oh, the other bow!
Well, rip silvers. We're not getting silvers today. Sorry, chat. As nice as silvers are, nobody's pulling pad for silvers.
Which can make things even interesting, considering that second sword, or that third sword is that Ganon's Gone Wild had picked up out of the basement of Tower of Hera.
Yeah, that's the only thing that Hera had. And if Ikir keeps going on this route, he's really going to try and push to try and do that last. In which case he does it in go mode. And if he doesn't find the fourth sword, wherever that may be, he's going to be at a sword disadvantage. And we're not getting silvers, so it's a more significant disadvantage if he's doing 24 spins at the end, plus a more difficult first 2 rounds, and a basically you're not getting a 1-in-1.
So this is a very unfortunate Ganon's Gone Wild trek through Skull Woods because of the way that he had Kane of Samaria and the Sea House.
Hey, Turtle Rock, anyone? I mean, we need mitts, but you know.
Right. But the unfortunate thing is that Ganon's Gone Wild is going to have a slower Skull Woods as a result of the routing.
Yeah, well, he only picked up the small key in the front. Like I would have been baited into doing the whole front, because I'll often open that chest. Oh, hi, Glove. Okay, confirmed Agaseed. We were not 100% sure, but now we are. But yeah, that small key, I'll often open that chest. If it's small key, I'll keep checking the front. If it's literally anything else, I'll go to the back first. And he saw the small key and still went to the back. So he saved a little bit more time than it wasn't quite as bad for him as it could have been.
I mean, he'll save some time. It's just Ikir's Skull Woods is still going to be faster.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so Ikir in Pendant Thieves now. Let's see if he decides to do this.
That mirror suggests to me that this is going to be a first 4 and get out, but that all depends on what we get in these next 2 checks. Because we've already seen the small key, we've already seen the big key.
And a compass. I mean, the argument could be made to do this now. It's 1 item. 3 items in the back, but no. I agree with Ikir leaving. You have a full clearable Swamp Palace. You haven't touched Pod. Now Pod's green pendant, so maybe you don't want to ever touch Pod, but basically we're looking for mitts at this point. That's not the only thing. Is that I mean, we might need medallions, but basically we're looking for mitts. And this is why, I talk about the like Agaseeds. You think that Agaseeds are the slow ones, but sometimes they're actually the quickest because you need all these things just to make Aga doable, and then your go mode ends up being either your mitts or your hammer, and those lock so many things that you don't have to do all those checks now.
Digging game for Ikir as we start to see how many digs it's going to take to find the item. Already at 10, making our way up towards 15. Still nothing. Maximum 30. It's going to be nearly vanilla for, that was 18 digs or something like that.
Yeah, that's too many.
But yeah, you are right. We could be just very well Titan's mids for go mode at this point.
Yeah. And Ikir thinks about it, decides, you know what, I'm going to take that money just in case I need something beyond, if I need to pay off Zora and I need something beyond that. That's a pretty free pickup.
That's rude. Gotta love it when the surprise guards come out when you're getting ready to dash like that.
Okay, we'll see if GGW makes the same decision on this Pendant Thieves Town. Has not gotten his gloves yet, but he's got the still has to finish the Village Outcast.
As we head into everybody's favorite cave, the cave once known as Hype Cave, with 20
I still
rupees
call it
inside.
Hype Cave because hype naturally isn't always lived up to.
There
and those are
are
myths.
Titans myths, so we could very well be in Go mode depending on what that medallion is.
I'm checking Mire, and I'm immediately checking Mire, doing Desert, and then I'm immediately going up to Death Mountain.
And that's exactly what Ikir's doing. But there's no reason to go up to the mountain at this point. Just go to Misery Mire, see if you can't get inside.
Yeah, no, you do Mire first. Because if nothing else, even if you can't get inside Misery Mire, you have a Desert Palace to finish.
That is true. All right, is this a Bombos? It is not.
No,
we need Ether.
Okay. So, no, we are not in Go mode to answer chat. We still need an Ether. And hopefully we don't need a Quake. Hopefully,
why would we need
Quake?
We
don't care about Turtle Rock. Yeah, Turtle Rock's a pendant. We don't care. We hope to never go in there.
Yeah, that's the reason why I was asking about the mountain.
I mean, mountain's a good place to get items, but yeah, I think you do desert here, you go do ice, and then you go check them. If you're still looking for items at that point, you go do the mountain. Especially in Ikir's case, because he hasn't done Hera yet.
No key underneath the doormat this time around.
Or maybe we don't do desert right now, because Ikir floating away. Looks like he wants to fill his bottles up, which, you know, when you're only on Master Sword, I think this is fair. We don't have a great way of killing Vitreous. I mean, no, I take it back. He's got a cape. He's fine. I feel like some runners just don't want to take advantage of that cape. But, I mean, of course, we still need the Ether Medallion to get it, but... just put the cape on, spam your sword, and it's even with Master Swords pretty fast. But we're going to do ice first.
And it makes sense because of the fact that you can use Icebreaker and just make this dungeon a whole lot more convenient than it would have been. And you don't, if you find Ether here, then you just blitz through Swamp. You don't worry about the side treks.
No, I like ice before Swamp. I don't like it before Desert. You're right there. I would have just gone to the back of Desert, finish it, and then gone and done Ice Palace. I mean, yeah, you're not doubling it with Misery Mire, but either way, you're doing an extra trek there. It's just a matter of, are you doing one dungeon each trek, or are you doing 2 dungeons in the second trek back there? I don't know if, let's see. Did we see both items in Desert? We might have.
Yes, we did.
Okay, so it would just be for the boss, but yeah, I think I still do Desert first. Just because I'm there, just do it. Let's see what
Ganon's Gone Wild is doing the same thing.
We'll see if he decides to do Desert before. I mean, in the end, I don't think it's a huge difference whether you do Desert now. You got to do it at some point regardless, so. Yeah, Icebreaker completely changing. Yeah, I mean, you remember the days when we'd probably say go do Swamp because Ice is terrible and not in Go mode?
Exactly.
Yeah, those days, those old. I kind of miss the Ice Palace bomb jumps a little bit. And funny enough, in Go mode, the difference is not significant. It's like 15 seconds difference between Ice Palace bomb jump and Icebreaker. But in full clear mode, when we're trying to find that last single item, it's definitely faster to do it now, to do it this way with the Icebreaker.
Our tracker is singing in chat.
Yeah. Yeah, don't ask me to sing because it's not happening.
I mean, singing and me have become a staple in the league matches, but not today, friends. No.
Yeah, and
No.
GGW is on team do desert now.
However, we have found all the dungeon items.
We found
of
a
this
single
ice.
actual item.
No.
We have to have found one. I mean, what do we have? We have big chest and.
No, we have
Oh, he hasn't
found.
done Freezor yet. Okay,
Yeah,
so we have Freezor, big chest, and cold stare all have items then.
Yep. We have found both small keys. We have found the big key. We found the map and the compass. Everything else is items.
Yeah. Well, if you had routed it the way I routed, I would be very happy because I'd be skipping iced tea.
That's nearly vanilla.
French vanilla blue mail. And $50.
All right, I guess the question is what does Cold Stare have? However, Ganon's Gone Wild is going somewhere else.
Is this a swamp play?
This is a swamp play.
Chat saying GW skipped checkerboard. I want to say checkerboard had some arrows that GGW is just never going to miss.
That is correct. There was just 10 arrows in there, so no harm, no foul to Ganon's Gone Wild. Here we go, Cold Stare, get him into the corner.
Oh, but don't miss those fire rod shots.
One of them hit because of splash deletion, or not splash delete. Yeah, it happened because of splash
damage.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay, nice finish to the fight, especially with that Master Sword.
And a bug catching nets. Not necessarily something you need, but hey, the search for ether continues on.
Okay, well, if the answer is here in Swamp Palace, GGW probably just takes the lead. If the answer is elsewhere, then, well, we still have things. I mean, we still have a race until one of them finds ether, so. Now, if you're GGW, I imagine he'll go to the back first because that's the typical play when you're go -1. But then, do you go back in for left side?
Tough
I know what my answer is.
Decision depending on how many items you find. I mean, the question. Let me ask you this, Tracy. If you are 2 items left side, do you do it?
Well, if it's 1, I definitely don't do it. I probably don't. I might do it with 3 if I get the big key and have to go back in with that.
Oh,
I'm a chronic left side skipper though, so.
I forgot the possibility of 3. I thought it was just either 1 or 2 because. Hey, that's what I think of when I say left side swamp, but you are right. If we get the big key in the back.
Mm-hmm. And we get a different check from Ikir over here on the Bombos tablet. And nothing useful.
Yeah, you're not using that 20 towards your savings at this point.
No. Ikir has bought 2 potions and still has money for Zor if it comes up, so really doesn't care about money at this point.
There it is.
And it's right there. That's go mode for GGW. Now, Ikir also doing Swamp is going to run right into that Ether Medallion. GGW will have a faster Ice Palace. Ikir is going to have the same Desert Palace that GGW had. For the most part, has a weaker sword, but ideally you're just going to use fire rod shots anyway.
The big question here is, does Ikir find a sword to at least?
Yeah, I was about to say that.
To make things interesting on that level, and so this is still going to be interesting. It become a battle of who can execute.
Yeah, I mean, this is too close to call at this point, but that sword difference is going to matter. Ikir's not getting the sword in Hera. That's just not happening. He's gonna mirror in front of Hera. He's gonna Hera pot to the top, and he's gonna kill Moldor, which is gonna save him time. Like that's gonna be a much faster Hera than what GGW had. But that time's already in the bank for GGW, so it's not like at that point it catches him up. Like as opposed to if they were doing it side by side and one's full clearing and one's just going to the top. And it's not, depending how good his Master Sword Silverless is, And we are going to be silverless, because for those of you that might have missed it, we have a bow on Ted that we're never getting. If he doesn't find that sword, that fight just is much, much longer and much, much more difficult.
And there is the fight for Ganon's Gone Wild, picks up 20 rupees, and now sits here with crystal number 5 in his bank.
Yeah, and the other significant thing about that sword that Ikir's missing, he'll be more incentivized to do more on-pass checks, which is going to lose him even more time compared to what GGW has. So, yeah, very close, too close to call, but, if anything, I would say advantage GGW, who picks up the container heart now, I think because he doesn't know if he's going to get blue mail. And I feel like blue mail was in ice. And
yes,
I'm trying to think which chest it was. Was it the Freezor chest? Yeah, I think he skips that one. Typically in Go mode, I'll do the icebreaker chest and the spike room. The U room chest.
Yeah.
Because those are really super on path, but the Freezor chests waste time and it wastes magic. And, we don't have a ton of it to spare. Now we have Bombo, so it's not so bad, but so wasting time and an extra resource. Yeah, I typically wouldn't check the Freezor chest.
Absolutely. So I think at this point, Ganon's Gone Wild does have the lead. Ikir, we will definitely see where this race is when Ganon's Gone Wild is done with this dungeon, because that's the only dungeon that Ikir has done that Ganon's Gone Wild didn't do.
Yep. Yeah, Ikir needs to go back and hit Desert. He needs to hit Mire and needs to do Hera. Now, those are all going to be, 2 of those are going to be fast. And the third one is going to be potentially the same for both, since neither one of them has done Mire.
And the bigger thing is that Ganon's Gone Wild right now, as long as we don't find a sword, is going to have the faster Vitreous fight.
Yeah. I say again, don't be afraid to use that cape on Vitreous. In GGW's case, if he's good at the NMG strat, that's still a pretty fast fight. And not a bad way to do it. But if you have Master Sword, just put that cape on, spam that sword. You have plenty of magic to finish him off, because the game doesn't like to do 2 things at once. So, fun thing, we don't actually lose magic at the normal rate when we spam that sword button.
And so Ikir is going to go ahead and head on over towards the palace, or rather the swamp palace, not swamp palace, the Misery Mire / Desert Palace area.
Yep. And oh, by the way, my pod play would have been a disaster. Just saying. The best item that could have been found in there, I suppose, is another sword, and maybe a powder for safety. Maybe the other mail upgrade, but yeah.
Yeah, but your items that we don't necessarily need at this level of competition.
We don't need any of those. At any level, you don't need those items. It's just at this level, you're not as worried about those items, I'd say. But they're always nice to have. But yeah, you're not going into pod for any of those. This was a like I say, those Aga seeds can become very fast seeds, because our go mode, our virtual go mode was myths. We had to find ether, but it was on path.
Which is at that point why you want to be clearing dungeons.
Okay. Into Misery Mire. Oh, it's a God Mire.
Oh boy.
Looks like Ikir is not a hoverer. We'll grab the small key in the pot here, and could choose to check this chest, is choosing not to. Chances are it's not an item anyway, so I don't blame him. Plus, you're gonna use health or Ender. Well, I would do it with one of the either the cape or the cane, because Misery Mire is terrible with their heart pots, but very generous with their magic pots.
True. All right, Misery Mire for Ganon's Gone Wild, up 2 dungeons over Aikir at this point in time. So that's unfortunate for Aikir, just losing time to
Yeah.
misplacing the ball.
Yeah, he can't afford
Fuck.
that. I mean, he's got he's down the 2 dungeons. They're the 2 fastest dungeons. You know, with the Hera pot and Tower Hera is going to be very fast, and the desert play is going to be fast.
Yeah, but at this point in time, Ganon's Gone Wild is going to be getting the second check of this dungeon to get the God Mire set up.
Yeah, I've always thought that if you don't hover, this chest is the better one to check first, because that's a slightly better Godmire than the bridge chest. And if you do hover, you can check this one first and then do the hover over to from one bridge to the other.
I would have been sad for Aikir's sake if that turned out to be a sword number 4.
Oh, I know, that just would have been, awful, because he's still going to keep checking it. I hope if we see the 4th sword, we see it on Aikir's side. Because if we see it on GGW side and Aikir skips it, then, it's just going to be a big feels bad. And thank you, Aikir, for just turning that cape on and just spamming.
Yeah, but
and also, it doesn't hurt to, do damage to that big eyeball while you're doing damage to the little eyeballs. It will be fewer arrows here.
But the one big thing here is you definitely want to be careful through this dungeon. You definitely do want to be careful through all of these dungeons. And you're definitely going to see the difference in time between having this Master Sword and the Tempered Sword on this Vitreous, because Ganon's Gone Wild is going to blitz through this upcoming fight.
Having a little trouble with the spooky action. There we go.
Finally gets it, but could have been more costly. Decides it's just going to go ahead and just activate the switch. Makes sense.
Yeah, this is where I'm going to point out why I think doing Desert earlier was... I mean, it's just seconds, but, this is a close enough rig. Those seconds matter. Notice how far Aikir had to run to get to the back of Desert. Whereas if he had done it after, say, Checkerboard Cave, which I think Ganon's Gone Wild may have skipped, you're just there. You're just a little bit there. Oh, GGW, careful.
That was extremely close right there, to the point that a death would have really made this a lot closer of a race.
It sure would have.
Anyways, that is crystal number 7 for Ganon's Gone Wild, which means we are heading to Ganon's Tower, which means people are throwing numbers into chat. And so, Tracy...
what are those numbers?
I think those numbers recognize the winning numbers for tonight's drawing.
Oh, okay. So everybody's entering the lottery. Is that how that works?
That's correct.
Unfortunately, Aikir not getting the 3rd Landmo with the Fire Rod, so he's going to have to switch to Sword Spins or, something else. GGW going and grabbing some... I think that Vitreous Scare may have caused him to go to get those blue bottles, or maybe it's just that he doesn't have blue mail.
Wants to be safe for this last part of the race, definitely. So, as people are throwing numbers in the chat, there are 22 possibilities in Ganon's Tower where the big key can be. Pick a number between 1 and 22. Tell us where you believe the big key is going to be. Tracy, where do you think the big key is going to be?
It's always my answer is always the same. It's always 5.
All right, I'm going to go with number 8 today.
Yeah, this is, Aikir behind on the mountain, just getting to Ganon's Tower, has to still do Misery Mire. Not Misery Mire. Tower of Hera, the other Misery Mire. We'll be able to do it quickly, but, it's just going to add to the lead of GGW. This isn't... I'm not sure this is quite within GT routing. Big key routing, but it's close enough to GT big key routing that if GGW makes a mistake and Aikir can manage to do a better job getting that GT big key, this could still be. It's still going to be close, but he's definitely behind.
So let's see here. While we are waiting on this cutscene activation, we do want to shout out the people clicking the buttons behind the scenes. I'm talking Iceman F1, who's been doing that for this entire seed, all 58 minutes worth of it.
Yeah, I feel like Ikir would have liked to have done this one. He did the first 2 races for his teammates, but it's hard to track and play at the same time. So at least track the race here. And Ikir, see, and here we go. He's going to check Hookshot Cave for a sword. Super Bunny Cave makes sense because it's super on path. But unfortunately, if this is not a sword, you're just going to lose time.
Yeah. And we do have 2 keys over here in the Hope room, so I'm going to continue over towards the right side. Ganon's Gone Wild is. And so I think this almost pretty much cements where this race is going to go.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, it's looking more and more likely that it's going to be a 3-0 series sweep, and OKDUDES, if they are able to hold on for this victory, will be going on to face off against the Divine Beastie Boys in the conference finals.
All right. Let's see. We are at 6, 7, 8. Oh, sorry. 3, 4, 5, 6, and we get a shield.
I am sorry, but number 5 is not the correct answer today.
Darn. Hopefully I'll have better luck next time.
Ikir needs to get this Hera pot bleeding time at the stage.
I just can't even do that version of the Hera pot. I have to do the newest version with the back into the bomb blast.
7, just bombs on the torch. So we continue in our search. Over here to the left side, Staffos room.
So if Ikir goes left instead of right, could make up a little bit of time if he doesn't go to Compass room. Hi, mushroom that we don't need. All right, fire bar room. Nope. and Ikir about to enter. So this, still not quite within big key routing because of the route that GGW took. Ikir can gain time here by just going to the left side and ignoring the right side, but I mean, he's almost certainly is going to do Hope Room, and then if he follows Hope Room to the right, as many players do, he can't make a time that way. And if he does Dark Magician, okay, he's not doing Dark Magician at least. At worst, he'll be exactly the same behind. Hopefully, he leaves out of Hope Room.
But instead, he will go over towards the right side. It makes sense, but it's kind of like this race is already determined at this point. Hey, there's the boots. Woohoo. And the big key's over here.
Yeah, and GGW opening up an additional chest, probably hoping for a mail upgrade. Doesn't get it. We have no idea where that last mail upgrade is. The difference between green and blue is a lot more significant than the difference between blue and red. But just like, by the same token, Ikir is going to do those extra checks for the sword. He'll do the checks up top. I don't think GGW is going to open very many, if any, chests looking for a mail upgrade on the climb. That fourth chest in a rando room or an Compass room after you found the big key, you're right there. It makes a lot of sense to just do it. But, some of the chests, they're just not really on path, all of them.
Wonder if Ganon's Gone Wild is just going to go in here to the equipment room, but nope, we're going to press on forward, go upstairs.
He's got 2 potions, so I think that's the right decision. I'll often essentially exchange the time of getting a potion or 2 with doing that room. My thought process is, I already spent the extra time to get the potion. Just use the potion if you need to, especially if you have 2 of them.
Totally understandable. Having a clean gauntlet from a damage standpoint, which is good.
Yeah, it looks like you won't even need to worry about it. I mean, you might still use it. Yeah. Yeah, because you want the magic here for the land mows. We don't have silvers. We could do it with the... It's not so bad with Tempered Sword if you want to do it that way. We don't have half magic, so... Not a lot of good choices here. Or not a lot of great choices. Like, nothing terrible, but nothing great either.
And you're definitely going to want the magic for floor 6.
Yes. And for those of you that missed it, there is a bow sitting on the pedestal that we are not getting.
You sure of that? I mean, there's still some time. They could just reverse course and go up to get that pedestal.
I mean, we have to do some pendant dungeons first. I mean, the only thing the only pendant dungeon we did anything in was first floor of Thieves Town. So there's a lot of items in those pendant dungeons that are very worthless. Probably where our last sword is. Probably where our last mail upgrade is.
Probably where the powder is.
Probably where the powder is. Those are the safeties that we have not picked up. I always call powder my favorite safety because you get to the end, get to the top of GT, and the fact that you can just powder the anti-fairy and the bunny beam there just makes a huge difference.
All right, the fight with Moldorm 2. 1, and the spin. Nope, not yet. And the spin.
And does decide to check the validation chest, but, you know, just the 50 rupees. Not what he was hoping to find up there. I mean, it is the quickest chest in terms of checking any of them. Although I do know some runners that, because of the strat they use in the pre-Moldorm room, will often open that chest by, you know, if they're picking up the small key that's there in vanilla, we'll always do that chest.
At least this Aga is going to be a lot quicker than that first Aga was.
And it was very well done there.
For those who missed the Aga 1 fight, 9 blue balls.
9 blue balls in a row. First 9 50-50s were blue. And, you know, we talked about this magic thing. You know, Ikir is using that magic potion right now.
So we go up against the Ganon fight. We've seen this many, many times before. Get the hits on the stage 1, so you can go into stage number 2. Then get the hits in stage 2, so you can go to stage 3. Then hit the hits on stage 3, so Ganon can remind you that those silver arrows are in the light world.
Light world, yeah. Did you get the silver arrows in the light world? No, we didn't. So, of minor significance, GW using up that magic with the cape, so is going to have to, you know, keep an eye on that magic bar. Does have the blue potion, so he will be fine.
All right, let's see if there's a sword up here. Well, there's the red mail.
Oh, yeah, you see, if you open chest, you could have had that blue mail, GGW. Oh, no!
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh, okay.
Well, we're going to be using that
I was
potion.
saying about, yeah, we're going to have to use that potion, and trying to light both torches to do sword spins is horrible with the lamp. So it's a really good thing. Yeah, I mean, if he hadn't bought that extra potion,
and there is no sword on the climb.
Oh, Ikir are going to be doing the master sword fight. Yeah, I'll say I knew it looked like GW thought he didn't have that second bottle. From the way he looked at his menu, but he does. But it's going to have to be judicious here. Missing that torch glitch makes a huge difference just because the big thing here is what you really want, like, the way he's pausing. I mean, I think he's got enough to be okay, but you know, if I'm doing this, if I miss torch glitch, I want to light those torches right back to back and not hesitate at all. And he's doing some hesitation on that second torch light, which means you're never going to get a triple. And, you know, not that you can get a lot of triples anyway, if you're doing this like this, but...
and now we're
and
going
you're not,
over
yeah,
to
now we're down to
Strats.
lamp. Yeah, I don't know what number he's on, but this it's not going to be enough. Ikir's still on Aga 2 unless GGW runs out of magic.
And the other big thing here is, there it is. That's the final hit for Ganon's Gone Wild. I was about to mention that Ikir still has to deal with the Master Sword Ganon fight.
Yes.
Anyways, Ganon's Gone Wild about to cross the bridge, and OKDUDES will complete the sweep to move on to the conference finals.
GG's to GGW and OKDUDES. And Ikir's going to go ahead and finish this out with the Master Sword, I think.
Maybe. We might be just having a hiccup here. But yeah, OKDUDES. Okay, we're back. So OKDUDES will be moving on. They will be facing off against the Divine Beastie Boys in the conference finals.
It's going to be I believe the casual boots matchup is Ganon's Gone Wild versus Gamachu. That's a whole lot of G's.
Gee, what a match.
That should be a good one. Gamachu is in chat, scouting his future opponent.
I mean,
I already saw
blame
Fear
him?
Agent in chat. I imagine Ramon is asleep, or just getting up, because, you know, it's Germany and and it's Saturday there, so yeah, probably still asleep.
So I'm being told
Zora
that
had a sword.
yeah,
Oh,
chat's
so,
mentioning
we
that
coulda-
Zora had a sword.
Well, darn it, we could have had Gold Sword Castle Tower.
We could have, but you'd have to find a way to get 500 rupees first.
I mean, if you're a player that tries to do everything you can before you do Aga 1, you're gonna have Gold Sword, because we got that 300 rupees. I want to say on the old man, which put us up to the amount we needed. Plus, the bush crab was dropping red 20, so
True.
Fear Agent already with the trash talk. Says we are already looking forward to the league finals. Any of GGW's teammates there to defend?
No, they'll go ahead and settle it when they get out onto the playing field.
Well,
in the
already with the
finals.
trash talk, you know. That's gonna make this fun.
Ikir does need to be careful, though, with the magic consumption at this point. 24 spins, you'd think, oh, easy, but it's not.
No, this is not easy. I personally, honestly, this part, I wouldn't call this. It's not that this part is easy. It's just twice as long as normal, and that's the bad part about it. But it's phase 3. Sorry, not phase 3. Phase 2 on Master Sword. That's just absolutely horrendous.
Oh, I agree with
hate
you
it.
on that.
Absolutely hate it. Like, give me a cape and half magic and a bunch of bottles, and I'm fine. Otherwise, it's you know, it's a bit of a marathon. Ikira, meanwhile, doing a nice job with this Ganon fight.
Yeah, very patient with the attacks here, which is kind of the key to success. Getting a lot of triples, and there it is. Ikir will not be moving on in this league playoffs, but Ikir a very well-deserved GG's for getting through that Master Sword Ganon fight.
Yep, finishing at 1:13:39, which, oh, by the way, is a really nice time. So,
I mean, it's only 4 minutes difference between
Yeah.
that and Ganon's Gone Wild. Anyway, speaking of Ganon's
who
Gone
is joining
Wild,
us?
welcome.
Yeah,
Hey, how's it
GGW,
going?
GG's.
Thanks.
That's a lot of G's.
Yeah, it's gonna be more G's next week.
Yeah, I don't know if you've been watching chat, but Fear Agent is already throwing out the trash talk. You got anything to say to him and his team?
I mean, I'm just looking forward to playing the net, in the finals. I think that's what he said. So I'll just say the same thing.
Okay. Gamachu chiming in. Yeah, I'm actually really looking forward to you playing Gamachu. That'll be a fun one to watch.
Well, he's just gonna get blasted. Like honestly, I mean,
Okay,
I
I'm just gonna ask this question. Where's Mean Gene for these WWF style interviews that we're having here?
I wish we could get all of you out here. But in all fairness, we should be, go ahead and answer that, and then we'll introduce Ike here because he deserves to get his time too.
I don't remember what you asked, but
Something about Mean Gene, some wrestling name that I don't know anymore. Because
it's all good. Yeah, I'm not too familiar with WWF, but it's gonna be a SmackDown either way.
yeah, absolutely.
But yeah,
I see what you did there.
Yeah, well played, Ike here. Just, I mean, it was a very jet seed. The biggest play, two things. So GGW got the sword in Hera basement, which
about that.
And did swamp before ice.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Yeah. So I mean, ice is still pretty fast, full clear with the icebreaker, but not quite as fast. And so you're going. Both of you got the. Yeah, and you both got the go mode ether in swamp. You didn't do anything extraneous beyond that. Yeah, for the most part, it was a pretty similar route, except for that one deviation, and GGW also doing desert and Hera a lot sooner. The desert play was only a small difference, I would say.
I do want to ask this question for Ganon's Gone Wild. You got that key on the right side of Skull Woods in the first section, and then you jet over towards the back. What made you play that decision out?
I mean, I don't really ever do the front. Basically in that situation, I know that I'm going back to the front no matter what. So I'm just trying to get an item there so that maybe I can avoid doing the middle chest or some slower check.
Okay.
So if I get a key, it also helps a little bit with Mahula. I don't have to kill the Gibdo in the back. So I don't know. It's I don't know. That's just kind of the way I route it. If I have to do if I have to come back to the front anyway. So I just
it makes sense.
Totally see that.
How nervous did you get on that Ganon fight?
I thought that it was given how fast this seed was, it was just I just lost for sure. The only hope was that he didn't find that sword because I didn't see any other swords. I mean, I didn't check a lot, but there was a whole lot of places that we never got to in this one. So
and the credits gave it away. Zora had the fourth sword.
Really, that's interesting.
So fun fact, you could have had Gold Sword Castle Tower, which is kind of fun, actually.
Yeah, I think, didn't the old man have 300 rupees? So, if you just did that before going to Zora, I think you had enough money, so...
Yep. I think the old man 300 rupees gives you enough money to do it. And, oh yeah, our silvers on Ped that we were never getting.
That was hilarious.
Yeah.
Basically rip silvers at that point. Yeah, not a single needed item in a pendant dungeon today. So. Yeah.
Well, when I did see that silvers, I was pretty happy because that meant that the tempered was actually pretty big.
Yep. Yeah, and especially considering where you got it,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, let's just skip that area because so Wild's big on skips. So I'm pretty sure this is Agassi just go Aga. Didn't even do Hera or.
I mean, the seed was pretty much screaming Aga 5 minutes. I won't say 5 minutes in because that's the escape. So 10 minutes in. if that. You know,
Yep.
you leave the escape, you get a lamp, you get a sword. You know, oh yeah, hey, I get logic, and it's casual boots, and casual boots likes to have Aga seeds. It's really common.
And oh, by the way, here is a cape in case you didn't get the piece of the puzzle enough as it was.
Here, yeah, all the things that you know, all the swords and the cape, all available in the early spheres before you go to Aga. It's just, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Oh, go ahead.
no, you finish.
Oh, I just am saying I don't really like these types of seeds.
The jet ones.
Well, they're like kind of jet, but it's like you have no idea where the last item is. You have everything but
Mhm.
the last thing you need, and it could be basically anywhere. So
Yeah,
Aren't you processed?
ether is not quite the ice rod, but it's
ice.
pretty darn close.
But at least in this case, it turned out to be in a dungeon as opposed to the overworld. So
Yeah, crystal
ABCD
dungeon.
paid off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and a crystal dungeon too. I mean, the thing about these Aga seeds is so often because you need so many things just to make the Aga play viable. It feels like a mitts or hammer go mode is not unusual, and this nearly was that. You know, just that ether, and you could have had. I mean, like that. Once you had the hammer, you could have done swamp. What was the mitts in Hype Cave? I mean, I think most people do Hype Cave before Swamp Palace, but like if you do Swamp Palace first.
yeah,
You know, and don't do left side. Then go in and get your mitts in Hype Cave. There is a world in which you could end up with that go mode mitts for real.
yeah.
Yep. But yeah, had to do Hype Cave first, then had to flute away
Yeah.
and go find out it was ether.
Yep.
And to be fair, both of you wound up making that play where you wound up fluting over to 6 immediately to find out what your medallion was to see if you were in go mode.
Yeah. You know, you're hoping it's Bombos, but you know, it ended up being ether. So
Yeah, I was pretty unhappy about that.
Yeah,
yeah.
really hoping Bombos would be like pretty sweet. This would be a really jet seed.
Yeah.
And that's where ice was faster to get to than swamp, so I did ice first.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, it could be
ice
fun.
is generally a faster dungeon. It makes sense to do it. Shout outs to the items being the last 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
But-
was just 100% committed to skipping left side, so I'm like, it's pretty fast, and I have to do it anyway.
Yep. Yeah, man after my own heart. I'm a chronic left side skipper, so.
So I do want to ask Ikir here. Obviously, with this loss, your team has now been eliminated from the league playoffs. Is there anything that you want to say as you make your exit out of the league season 5?
I thought this was a very good series. All 3 games were really, really tight, really close. Glad we were able to do that for everyone. I've been practicing against Ganon Wild's like ladder casual boots, and it's been like I lose by 15 minutes, 20 minutes. So I'm glad this one was 4 and made it reasonable.
Yeah,
reasonably
no,
close.
it was reasonably, yeah, very reasonably close.
And we didn't really expect to make it this far. We thought last round was going to be rough, and somehow swept it. I'm not sure how still. And yeah, we're just happy to make it to the league semi or the division semifinals. But this is a tough team, and we knew coming in that we were probably not going to be advancing past this.
Mhm.
Especially once it came down to 2-0 against Scott Wild. He's the best, one of the best casual boots runners, and it was a tall order in order to be stacked up against him. But congrats to the team, and hope you guys do well in the next round.
And I imagine we'll see you around for some tracking as
Oh, yeah.
well.
Yeah,
I imagine you would have done this one if that actually was allowed.
I did the other 2 in the series.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
And with that help,
Sorry,
you know, I was going to just say, you go ahead first.
I totally don't remember what I was going to say now. Lost my train of thought. You go ahead.
That's the ill effect that I have. Anyways, let's give it up for, don't forget to track us, GG's, on making it to the league conference semifinals. Congratulations to you 3.
Thank you.
Yeah, GG, man.
Ganon's gone wild. Okay.
Okay. Look, we played both your teams, and you're both the teams in this conference finals are really good. So I expect some good matchups here.
I know you each are saying you're gonna 3-0 sweep, but I'm calling for a 5-game series.
Anything but that.
Let's get that game 5 restaurants race going.
Oh man.
We need more of that in our lives. So Ganon's gone wild. Okay, dudes, you're going to a place in the league that you have never been before, the conference finals. So what's your thoughts about this?
We just had to get rid of Zero Rush, and yeah, that was the success story.
I see how it is.
Yeah, no, I'm totally joking. He's a great runner. But no, yeah, no, it's great to go this far. Other seasons, I feel like we've been very close before. I think we took like Hyung and Farame and somebody else to 5 games, and so yeah, we've been close, but we've just not been able to quite get there. And so it's nice to get there. But yeah, we're up against a pretty good team. I do think we have a pretty big advantage though. So we'll see. We'll see if they can win a game or two. But yeah.
Yeah, let the trash talking begin.
Yeah.
Actually, it already began. Like, I think Fear Agent was thrown down before the race was even over. So if you watch this back, you'll have to see. I forget what he said in chat, but it was definitely some interesting.
Yeah, no, they're all really good runners. In all honesty, so it'll be a close series. Hopefully, Rando can Rando, so you never know. But yeah, hopefully it's a good series.
Yeah, it should be fun regardless.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Fun fact: I've never played Gamma in a tournament before, so.
Here we go.
Oh, we'll see what winds up happening. You have a week worth of smack talking before the matches start to have to be required, unless you want to start it on it super early. But nonetheless, that's what it is going to be here for this side of the conference finals. Divine Beastie Boys versus OK Dudes. Should be a lot of fun, Tracy.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, the playoffs, league playoffs are just nothing but fun. And it's just really happy just to be a part of it. Yeah, that's pretty much going to do it. We do have races on the schedule for other matchups.
Yes, indeed. We have 2 matches coming up here tomorrow on New Year's Eve. In fact, one of them is a co-op entrance that you mentioned over in the Open League.
Yeah, that should be a good one. Akai versus Pat Spicana. There'll be VGF Taylor and Dixon versus James FNX and Tepidino. And then in the Invitational League, we have Tyler Ramirez versus the Perfect Unadulterated Gaming Squad playing Hard Randomizer. That'll be Kappa versus some guy named Andy. That should be a fun one. And then their Crosskeys matchup will be early on New Year's. That'll be Error versus RD Walsh V. And that one's going to be on the ALTTPR channel getting some love. So that'll be a fun one to watch as well.
Yes, indeed. The Kappa versus Andy will be on SpeedGaming. The VGF Taylor Dixon versus the James FNX and Tepidino match will be over on SpeedGaming 2 tomorrow. And of course, New Year's Day, as you just mentioned, that match between Arior and RD Walsh will be on ALTTPR League. So be sure to follow all the channels for all the great things going on here with the league as we get ourselves closer and closer to the conference finals.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Rick, we got to do commentary together for the first time since SG Live.
Yay!
More fun when we get to actually sit next to each other. That was absolutely a blast, but always fun in general, just getting to do commentary with you. So glad we got to make this happen.
Indeed, and a special thanks once again to Iceman F1 for clicking the buttons and making those icons appear as the runners picked them up. So, once again, one more GG's Ike here. Ganon's gone wild for a great match here. And, of course, if you want to get more information about the league, you can go to ALTTPRleague.com. Tracy?
Yep.
Well, I'm just going to let you go ahead and end this broadcast.
Oh, okay. I can end the broadcast. Yeah. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you at the next race. Good night.